Hey guys, this is Chetan for Gizmo Times and you're watching yet another speed test comparison on the channel, and this time it's more interesting because it comes between two Redmi smartphones. Now the Redmi Note 9 Pro is going to be a successor to the Redmi Note 8 and not the 8 Pro. So still we are going to see if the 8 Pro is competitive enough to the Redmi Note 9 Pro, or is it actually better than the Note 9 Pro, because the Note 9 Pro is priced lesser than the Note 8 Pro, and that's because it comes with a few upgrades from the Note 8 and it is competitive to the Note 9 Note 8 Pro. So that's the confusion of names. To be frank, these two phones are pretty much powerful. They are pretty good with what they offer, but in the speed test we're going to see how do they perform and what's the main performance point here, because with the other differences there are some differences. With the camera, 64 megapixel primary camera on this one, there's a 48 MP on the Note 9 Pro, so some might feel it's a downgrade, some might feel it's an upgrade, but it's a newer sensor, the Samsung GM2 sensor, so obviously there'll be that difference. And in the fast charging there's no difference, but there's an upgrade in the battery here. But with the performance, it's the Helio G90T from MediaTek on the Redmi Note 8 Pro, which was quite a powerful chipset. It did very well with every aspect, and even with gaming it was actually better than even the Snapdragon 730G because of the better GPU performance. The Mali G76 MC4 GPU offered a much better gaming performance or a graphic performance on this one. Now this one comes with the Snapdragon 720G, which has a faster CPU, but we are told that it's going to be a slower GPU or a little downgraded GPU, which is still the same. I mean, Adreno 618 is present on this, but it's going to be underclocked. So that's the difference here. So how good is the performance with the GPU as well, and how good is it with the CPU? We are going to test out in this speed test comparison, where we show you a few things such as the boot up speed, the apps load speed, the multitasking test, and then you can judge whether the Redmi Note 9 Pro is a good upgrade or you should stick to Redmi Note 8 Pro or buy the Redmi Note 8 Pro itself in the current time. So in the speed test, the first thing that we did is to turn off the phones and then boot them up. The first time the Redmi Note 8 Pro loaded up faster, the second time as well the Redmi Note 8 Pro actually booted up faster by a few seconds of margin, and that's where we ended that, because we do 3 tests and in that whichever wins in 2 times is the winner. So here the Redmi Note 8 Pro clearly booted up faster. Next, moving to the app loading, where we opened up Antutu, where the Redmi Note 9 Pro loaded the app faster, though the scores were better on the Redmi Note 8 Pro. Now with the Geekbench, it loaded almost the same, a bit faster on the Note 8 Pro. Next, with the Subway Surfers game, we started opening. We can easily see that here it booted up faster on the Redmi Note 8 Pro again. So with the GPU apps, I mean the apps that would take advantage of the GPU, that's where we saw the Note 8 Pro to load the apps faster. This is the Temple Run 2 game, and here as well we saw the first screen of the game on the Note 8 Pro, and then it also loaded faster on the Note 8 Pro. Next, we moved on to the next game, which is the higher graphic intensive game, that is the Asphalt 8. And in Asphalt 8 loading up time, it was faster on the Redmi Note 9 Pro. That was interesting enough, and we saw that it loaded faster on the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Next, moving on to PUBG Mobile. In PUBG Mobile, we saw again the Redmi Note 9 Pro to basically load the app faster, and that was interesting since, because we will talk about the Redmi Note 9 Pro versus 8 Pro gaming as well in this video, to let you know which one actually is a better one when we talk about gaming. But we could tell you that the PUBG Mobile game actually loaded faster on the Redmi Note 9 Pro. Now moving on to the multitasking test, where we load up a lot of applications, we switch between them, we open them while the others are in the background, and this is this speed test that you are watching. Now this is towards the end where the things were pretty interesting. 2 minutes 8 seconds for everything, all the tasks that we did so far. And in comparison to that, it was about 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So about a 10-second difference between the two phones. And that's where we feel that easily the Redmi Note 8 Pro is a better phone when we talk about the performance. I mean, to be frank, the Snapdragon 720G is an 8 nanometer chipset, which is battery efficient, a better performer usually, but in things where graphics loading is very necessary and very important, that's where it couldn't catch up with the Redmi Note 8 Pro, which has a very good chipset, which is a 12 nanometer one, so the battery efficiency won't be good when compared to this one, but still with the performance, with the core performance and the GPU, it's actually the Redmi Note 8 Pro which is the winner in this case. The speed test here clearly proves that. And now moving on to the last part about the gaming. So PUBG Mobile gaming, we could easily tell you that the PUBG Mobile loading on these two phones was pretty good. I mean, there's no issues with whatever the graphic settings are, but clearly the graphic settings on the Redmi Note 9 Pro are limited to smooth and ultra, that is 40 FPS. You can't go to smooth and extreme, that's 60 FPS, which you could on the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So this was one of the best gaming phones in that entire series of under 15,000 rupees in that last few months when the phone was launched, because of the fact that it offered the smooth plus extreme. There are some phones from Samsung as well that would offer the same, but there are major lags in those phones, which was not noticed on this one. This was always a good performer for gamers, and that's where we still feel that if you are considering a phone for gaming, this also has the liquid cooling and it doesn't heat up as much as the Realme 6 did, and this phone doesn't heat up as much as this Redmi Note 8 Pro does, but still it doesn't offer the best of the graphic performances as well. It doesn't offer the best settings for PUBG Mobile. So I mean, some of the things such as heating could be a small compromise that you should go with in case you're considering something for gaming. If you want the 60 FPS gaming, you should obviously go with the Redmi Note 8 Pro. And with the speed test as well, you can see with the performance, the Redmi Note 8 Pro is better. So in case you're wondering between these two phones for the performance aspect, clearly you should go with the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So this was the speed test comparison of the Redmi Note 9 Pro with the Redmi Note 8 Pro. I hope you like this video. If you do, share and subscribe to Gizmo Times for more. Thanks for watching, and see you next video.